Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever we listeners then they at the part of the world, whether the morning, afternoon, or evening, since we're all in a different time zone, so we all know say not at the same time to everybody. As with the broadcast right now, primarily we target audience Freetown. It's 3 o'clock to us, it's 8 o'clock to them. So I presume it's already dark in Freetown, whereas we get we get plenty more time for darkness. So, and there are other countries in which the time difference is 12 hours, 14 hours. So, some places now is so late into the night they are asleep, or some places and they morning time now this early morning. So, because of that, we always say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So, we'll try to satisfy everyone. Also, of course, I am Mohammed Shillon, coming to you from the United States of America. I have a co-host by the name of Mr. Victor Mengot, who needs no introduction. He's going to introduce himself. Wow. When I pass the introduction side of the opening to him, and also I'd like for just say this is VOS, Voice of Salon. This is the name of the station, VOS Network. And we do have certain numbers. We always want people for be able for reach we while they're listening to this broadcasting. And we hope, as usual, people are not going to get any problem with trying to reach we at all. There was only one time I recall when we get problem with a caller, and that was because the caller get the toll-free line mixed up with a WhatsApp line, or it was not probably clearly explained to the caller by Winaya, so we not be making clear. So, of course, toll-free means you know to pay. But normally we on toll-free number from this vantage point. Now, if you're in North America, if you're in the United States, you're in Canada, you're in Mexico, you can use, instead of calling long distance and pay for them, or if you don't get access to long distance, free long distance, you can call what we call the toll-free number, which is 1-866-944-7722. 1-866-944-7722. This is only if you are in Canada, Mexico, or the United States. That call will cost you nothing. And so if you're placed on hold when you call, because there are other callers before you, you don't have to worry about how much it will cost you. We also get what you call the WhatsApp line. The WhatsApp line applicable to everyone calling from anywhere. And that one is 1-343-997-5828. 1-343-997-5828. In addition to that, if you're calling from the United Kingdom, you can do a local call. We'll cover certain areas then, London included, from plus 44 2080 891455. Plus 44 2080 891455. Likewise, if you're calling from Australia and you want for call locally and you don't want for be charged for the call, particularly if you're placed on hold because you pay for all the time that you're on hold, there's a local number that you can call also, which is plus 61 2909 84 337. Plus 61 2909 84 337. In addition to all of these numbers, we do have a local radio station in Freetown, 91.9 FM. You will catch we on 91.9 FM in most of Freetown, or about not in the entire western area, but in most of Freetown area, particularly in the eastern part. So we hope when I go listen to the show today. Of course, additionally, also, we carried on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So these are other avenues or other media through which I can see we, as this show is being conducted or shortly thereafter. That said, let me introduce, well, let me just give me co-host a brief moment to introduce himself, and then we'll talk about what the topics for today will be. Back to you, Mr. Bengot.
Okay, thank you very much, my co-host, Mohammed. And as you know, we na viewers, we na transcontinental. We control room then at Canada. The lead presenter is in the States from Raleigh, North Carolina. And I'm the co-host, Victor Akumengot, from Surrey in the UK. And as you know, I wear so many hats. So the topic then today we'll deal with, where me, the host will talk about, it deal with one area which is very passionate to me, which is governance and the parliamentary system. Then the second one, most important one, will go into my other area of specialization, when everything for do with transport management, traffic engineering, and that area. So therefore, let we all engage and look at the issue the way they confront with Konski, the things that were important. And today a special program, we're in a two-part series. One, it's a continuation of the previous program that we don't do. And part two will be the surprise when we'll get for you. So over to Brother Mohammed for introduce the topic and show you where to go through today.
All right. So, of course, today, as everybody knows, today is January 28th on a Sunday, or today is Sunday, January 28th, 2024. The topics for today, the last time will be get as part of a subtopic, because this was a trending issue. People wanted to hear more, and for every own comment from whatever perspective we may have about the traveling or exiting of former President Nkrumah from Sierra Leone at the time when he was being accused of or having committed treason offense. So in the midst of all of that, we do know, as a matter of fact, that he is no more in the country, and that he supposedly traveled to Nigeria, as we all were told. And so we're going to comment on that, on just the occurrence itself. We're just going to comment on the process. We want people to realize that we do not have a position. We are not taking a position as to whether it was right or wrong for him to have left the country or to have stayed and contest the allegation against them. We are not going to take any position on that. That we will leave to the rest of our listeners then. And for people, you are welcome to call in and give your view. But what we want to talk about, or I personally want to talk about, is the process, the procedure by which that was done, and to see if we try for build what you will call institutions. I'm very big on that, because the system not going to improve unless we try for improve, what we say build institutions, for improve the institutions, them we all know the institutions, them the political institutions, the governmental institutions, them, the educational structure, the civil service structure, the judiciary, the parliamentary system. We inherited a system that we all were proud of. But that system did not maintain its consistency or its originality. Instead of the system getting better than what it be what we inherit for political expediency or for political advantage of one group over the other, we have put the country at the risk of just what we will call pandemonium, confusion, constitutional confusion, governmental governance confusion. And so we just want for comment on that, part of which involved with judiciary. The other comments will go, because this is not the last time we went touch on that, but we were not able to run out of time since now a 2-hour show. And we'll try to keep the show within 2 hours. Then the other aspect to that issue there that we're going to be discussing today is going over the separation of powers among the parliament, the executive, and the judiciary, because in a normal democracy, we have to have co-equal. That's the political science phrase that is used, co-equal branches of government in a democracy. So parliament should be parliament should be run by parliament. The president, who is head of the executive, should have nothing by way of administrative powers over parliament or anywhere over parliament or to parliament. The executive should have their own free zone, whereby by virtue of the power vested in the executive by the constitution, not by parliament, because I'm always arguing this point, and I'm waiting for some of the intellectuals then, the top-notch lawyers that work in the country, because I've been bringing this point up over and over and over, that we get a system now in the country where there is a school of thought that, in my view, in my humble opinion, still believes, say, parliament can pass laws at any time, any kind of laws they want. And I will argue that we have a constitutional democracy. So the constitution is the supreme law of the land. Even though constitution gets quite a bit of fault, because we get in the constitution certain aspects or certain provisions that ordinarily should not be constitutional provisions. They should be statutory provisions. Okay, but we have jumbled up statutory law and constitutional law. And I think to some extent we still practice common law, so we get things a whole lot mixed up. Nothing wrong with that if we are sincere and if we are committed, and if we give the court the power where the court deserves, because under the separation of powers, only the courts are empowered with interpreting the laws passed by parliament. And again, we therefore split here there. When we say only the courts are empowered to interpret, it doesn't mean at every given time when a case comes before the court must interpret, because there are some legislations that will not make sense, that will be considered as nonsense. Okay, so when a legislation don't make any sense or get some vagueness in them, or a legislation subject to multiple interpretation, multiple conflicting interpretation, the court does not necessarily have to interpret it unless they get a clearly defined roadmap by which they can able to predict what the intention of the law is. Otherwise, the court can just simply declare the law unconstitutional and send them back to parliament, say this law cannot withstand constitutional muster. Therefore, we're going to declare it null and void, as if it never existed. Now, I want people to realize that when the court take that position there, declaring any law passed by parliament as being unconstitutional, that of itself becomes law, because that would become the law of the land, what the court just did. So in a way, in a roundabout way, the courts also can make laws, because every decision by the courts becomes the law of the land. If they invalidate a statute, that invalidation becomes the law, because nobody can comply by with the statute just invalidated. So we therefore get some understanding of how the system for work. If we want the system for work, VOS, particularly our show, we are trying to let people and get some understanding of, if we want a good country, maybe not today, not tomorrow, but in the near future, we begin to put the basic structures in place for us to be able to get what we want. We cannot keep chipping away the effectiveness of the law and expect to get good results or good service from the law. It's not going to work that way. So we are just trying to explain, we try as best as we can. And so sometimes it may appear as if we're picking on the existing government, but not only that, not with intention, it serves no useful purpose. For us to want to sit here and try for criticize, just for criticism only, a government, let alone the current government, is a waste of time. It changes nothing. It adds nothing. We try to educate the public. So sometimes some supporters of the current government may misunderstand our intent and even what you would say, and may not get the basic or the requisite understanding of what you would try to say. But with the hope that you're going to keep up and try to understand what we're saying. So now we're going back to the issue of the parliamentary Tarawali saga on the one hand, and the exiting of President Nkrumah on the other hand, and how those two, because for illustrative purpose, then two instances in there, one use them for show how our governmental system will never work efficiently unless we start changing the foundation of why we get two situations that we're about to cite. The Tarawali situation and the President Nkrumah exiting situation, and the involvement and the participation of the executive in all these activities. So we just want to touch on incident for let people realize, say, we got a problem that we have, and we need to really start addressing it. So that said, let me just start off with let me also bring to the attention of our listeners. In fact, our main topic today, now about some 50 buses who will start soon for operating in the next few days, in the Western area, in Freetown particularly. 50 buses that just came. And in fact, when I look at the screen, when I go see pictures of the buses, 50. And of course, Mr. Mengot, my co-host, everybody knows, is not only an expert in transportation, but is a man with extreme experience, very deep rooted experience in transportation, and has advised many other governments. Creole man say, if you know everybody in granny in price, not to you own granny in price, go know. So Mr. Mengot is quite capable for tell we and help with how that bus system here for work. So we're not going to end up getting the problem we'll get with the other governments. Then your bus with a byway no exist for long. They're all in at the scrapyard. So we're going to talk about that. That's going to be the main topic. But we're going to spend, hopefully, about 40 minutes on this separation of power, Tarawali, President Nkrumah exiting the country, and we hope we will deal with that. Whether we finish or not, we will have to end it and go to the transportation thing, because that is very, very, very important. Now, on the separation of powers, and of course, my co-host will have a lot to say about that too. But let me just touch on some of the issues. On the separation of powers. Now, we all see where President Nkrumah, as a matter of fact, after being charged with treason, and bear in mind, we've said it again, I'm saying it again, we are not taking any position, but to go come up with some assumptions, maybe presumptions. But when President Nkrumah, we know he was charged with treason. I have always had problem with this treason charge in Sierra Leone. It goes way back from the Stevens days. We did charge people with treason like we did charge them with traffic offense. That's how we don't trivialize treason, which is one of the most serious crime anywhere in the world. We make it look like speeding case, careless and reckless driving case, improper equipment case. I mean, before you make cases that should not rise to the level of treason, one is being charged with treason. I could cite the Palo Conte case, for example. I said that over and over and over. The government had a very good case of all kind of statutory violation, statutory gun violation by Palo. But there was this overburning desire for just attach a treason charge to the offense. And if you go back, forget about all this APC, SAPP stuff. If we try to build a judicial system with some degree of credibility, if a person walks into a building with an arm prohibited to be taken into that building today, that's just what the offense is. You take a gun or a knife or a sword, whatever that weapon may be, into a building that the statute clearly say you can't take an arm into. Instead of we stick with that and make just press that law, of which the government had convincing case based upon all we know, and when I say convincing case, doesn't necessarily mean a jury will have been convinced, but from the general public's point of view. They went ahead and they added treason to it. And this treason thing was common thing also under the Shaka Stevens government. Everybody's charged with treason. You cough, you charged with treason. If you cough, Bashaki catch cold and say you want to kill him. If anything, So my plea to the judiciary, or to the legal system in Sierra Leone, please stop trivializing the crime of treason, because this is an extremely serious crime. When you accuse someone of that crime, you better be sure you have facts that will sustain or substantiate the allegation. So that's one of my problems, because we trivialize treason just too much. Now we also see the current situation involving the former president. He was charged with treason after days of interrogation. Well, I used to be a criminal attorney, or criminal defense attorney. Let me make the adjective sound better. Because a criminal attorney could be an attorney where they commit crimes. So a criminal defense attorney. And there are some basic things that they teach we in law school. If you go into practice criminal law. And that is, the basic rule is, the government has to be prepared to have factual basis to charge the crime, and for be able, if they want to move forward, because then they call the shots, for be able for prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. Not a shadow of a doubt now, beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay? Which means they have to prove every element of the crime factually. So what thing we see recently happen, there's allegation of an attempt by some soldiers to steal ammunition from an ammunition depot. And that, the facts, I just summarize the facts. So then, next thing we know, certain people were arrested, most of them soldiers, that they were trying, they moved from trying to steal ammunition from an ammunition depot to trying to overthrow a government, the existing government of the day. And the next thing we know, they charged them with treason. I mean, there are many other things they could have been charged with. In fact, if they just want to charge them, they could charge them with insurrections. I mean, they could charge them with many other things where the law currently govern. But they went for treason right away. This just happened, I think, in the month of November. Right away, they went for treason, in which they include the former president. And that's another issue too. If you're going to include the former president, that would call that high stakes. High stakes trial, legal proceedings, because of the importance of the defendant. You want to charge a former president with treason, you better be damn sure you got a case of treason. Okay, so now, while all of that is going on, and I have always taken the position too, while they talk about for state, the process by which the police can just invite you to come in and talk to them without certain restrictions on their part, and the police can conclude that after talking to you, first of all, what you're going to do, in my view, then they get what you may call a coerced confession from you. You come in, they say, we want to talk to you. But they basically detain you. Then they detain you by implication. They say, have a seat over here for hours. Sometimes people are even kept at the CID for days of interrogation. Okay, I think that's a bad procedure. I think that's violate due process. You know, I don't think the police should have that kind of power. I think we need to remedy that situation there. You know, and if it is an invitation, I've always taken the position that an invitation is an invitation. One doesn't necessarily have to comply with an invitation. You invite me, I can come, or I don't have to come. But if you want me to come, the court should be empowered to order me to come. The Attorney General's office or the Director of Public Prosecution should be able to get an order from the court compelling me to come to court. It should not be the police inviting me, but when I refuse or if I exercise my option. Because if anybody invites you to a party or to anything, you get the option of not coming. But it doesn't seem like it. The implied essence of that invitation is that you're being compelled, you're being asked, you're being ordered to come to the CID and make a statement. Then that of itself is problematic, because do I have to make a statement? Do I have any constitutional protection not to answer any question for fear that I might implicate myself? You know, do I have to have a lawyer present? All these things must be explained to the individual who is being invited to come to the CID. Okay. And to me, that process there should be a court process, not a police process. You know, because then illicit facts, not an investigation nowadays, that day goes beyond investigation. Because if an investigation I do, when I can, invitation will be proper, or when I can come to the person in your place and ask them several questions. But this is like the police, they play the role of a court. And from those facts that they get from you, they decide to go ahead and charge you with a crime. So do we talk to all the lawyers in Sierra Leone? Is that how you people want the legal process to work? that the police, an ordinary police officer, when I say ordinary police officer, meaning no disrespect, I mean like the chief of police or the head of the CID can just call you. I remember once upon a time when Anes Kuruma, they immediately go out of power, the current chief of police, Mr. Fayia, I think they're in charge of investigation of some kind of allegations concerning Sylvia Blyden. I think she was even charged with having President Kuruma in picture on the wall of her residence. That was supposedly, I don't think it's written anywhere that it's a crime, but the police just decide for charging with a crime. We get to stop these things if we care about our country. We get to give the police the autonomy where they need, but we therefore also give the courts for overlook the actions. Because we can't just keep playing this tit for tat stuff. We are killing the system. The country is going nowhere. Because that's not the way you run a judicial system. Okay, so my take on that is we should try to avoid this so-called treason. The next thing on the thing about President Kuruma in exiting is he was actively a defendant, as far as we know. Then what came that he was going to go out of the country because for illness purpose, that he was ill, he get a medical problem, that he's going to go out. Well, okay. Then next thing we know, procedurally, a lawyer came to court, apologized to the court, and then after apologizing, seek leave of the court for the former president to travel outside the country. Again, we're not talking about the pros and cons. We just argue process. When have you ever heard anywhere in the world a person charged with treason? If these people were really serious about the charges they brought against the former president, granted bail, where do you hear that? Where do you see that? Because in a situation like that, whatever medical problem he gets, then go bring the best medical team from abroad. And he should be entitled to that. That should be borne by the government for can't take care of another country. Because you were talking about treason. One of the most serious crimes you can ever commit. So we are trivializing, we're joking, we are playing games with our own legal system. And so if we want to take system seriously, we'll get for now we understand. Say President Bio is saying now medical leave, the government, I think the president or the executive gets some kind of say-so with respect to allowing the former president to go. It was done with the acquiescence or the consent. All right. So he goes. But the court proceedings say the case was adjourned, postponed till I think March 6th or somewhere in the early week of March. So what's going to happen when March 6th comes if former President Kuruma is not in the country? Is it going to be postponed again? I mean, does the president or the attorney general or the court system think people are so dense that they can't understand that this is not serious? Why can't the state gets very, very many options. I mean, they can terminate criminal proceeding against the former president. They brought it, they can terminate. There is no law that says the attorney general and in team cannot terminate that. So why put the case up? And then when March 6 comes, if the president is there, are they going to still say he's still considered receiving medical treatment? To me, the credible thing to do, if it is decided that it is not wise to prosecute the former president, I think they should just go ahead and get it over with. Take a dismissal and let it go. That's one aspect. So we just want to bring that for say, they cannot be serious when you charge a person with a criminal offense of treason. Then you grant the person bail. That is never done. That's hardly ever done anywhere in the world. Okay, there are certain crimes when you then charge you with they only give bail because there is a real risk of flight. Okay, so there is no way they will charge you with treason. I'm not saying people do not they will get the mind, but if you have the ability to leave that jurisdiction when they charge you with treason, you're just not coming back. Well, so we hope the government will be wise enough, and I suggest that the government just bring an end to that proceeding there, dismiss the charge against the former president, and let it be whatever it is. And so that way we will begin to add or give some respectability to the judicial system, and we'll begin to proceed. The other thing I don't understand at that process there, when the president Nkrumah left, I don't know of a situation, and I really want the Minister of Information or the Attorney General, as a matter of fact, who hardly says anything of national importance, that when questions were being raised as to why President Nkrumah was allowed to leave, is the Minister of Information who was giving feedback, taking interviews, not the AG. I don't understand that. If a case is in court, the Minister of Information should have nothing to do with it, nothing to say about it. That would be purely within the domain of the judicial system. And I think the best spokesperson will nobody from the executive should be saying anything like President Biosef, the comment, saying Attorney General put up a vehement opposition to the release and all of that. No. The president should not be running the judiciary, so he should have nothing to say about it. The Minister of Information, who is part of the president's team, should have nothing to say about it if we want a system for work. So I was amazed that the Minister of Information is the one talking about the president's exit from the judicial system. That seems to me the spokesperson who get to talk about that should be the AG, if anybody has to comment, because that's purely in the hands of the court. So again, the question is that how we want a system for work? Now the system that we want? Can we live with that system there if power changes hands? Is that how we want it to be? Or we want it to be so detached, so independent, that it should be, justice should be done as is needed, as is necessary, as is expected. So when we see Minister of Information, they respond to judicial process or proceedings, I think not only is that abnormal, I don't think that's healthy for the system. So then we shift to the Parliamentary thing. Because I don't talk about the Minister of Information, who's part of the executive, and the president commenting on President Nkrumah in going one. Now we'll go to the Parliamentary thing, or saga. Well, we've been talking about this. Well, let me just stop here and let me announce that our lines are open, listeners. So feel free to interrupt me, call in to raise any questions. The lines are open. At any stage, you can call in, all right? And we will be more than happy to answer your questions. On the Parliamentary issue, the problem there is, here again, we get the president. First, constitutionally, I think framework-wise, the way we set up a constitution is just wrong. Because the president is the one who appoints the clerk of parliament. It should not be. The president should appoint nobody in the parliament. Nobody. Not even security guards for parliament. If we talk about co-equal branches. So now the first problem that we get, Are we going to address that system there, whereby that appointment is not ever done again from the presidential office? Are we going to amend the constitution so the clerk of parliament can be a civil servant and do as they do in England, where you rise to that position there as a result of your employment through the civil service and you upward mobility in the civil service? To me, that's a better process. There are a lot of countries in the world with democracy we can follow, but I think as this is just, it has nothing to do with the current president. In fact, the current president doesn't even write the law, as far as I know. But of course, he has all right to take the power away the constitution give. But it's a dangerous practice and precedent. The president should not be appointing the clerk. Then the irony of it all, they put all that in the books, but they don't even write the law as if a clerk is a person, in the sense that a clerk is, like the rest of we, is subject to all the weaknesses where all our human beings can get. A clerk sleeps, a clerk lies, a clerk falls in love, a clerk gets angry, a clerk does everything like the rest of we. So when you draft law, you have to realize that human being you to deal with. So now, when we not take into account the likelihood or the possibility of a clerk who may lack the requisite integrity to uphold the requirement of the office. So, and for someone to simply ask, what if a clerk does this, does that? How is he punished? How is he removed from power? Now we are stuck with a situation, it appears as if, where, as far as we know, only the president has the power. Look at the awkwardness of the situation. Somebody is in parliament. In fact, the most powerful arms of the three separate arms of government. Somebody in parliament, and now nobody, not even the speaker, has the power to sack him. You have to go back to the judiciary. That should have nothing to do with that. So again, folks, if I see nothing wrong with the system, is that if that's the way we want it, well, we can leave it that way. But it's not going, because any president with kind of power will use that power there. And I don't consider it an abuse of power. It's there, he got it. But I think it's not a good exercise of discretion, in the sense that the president should. So my advice at this stage, with the Parliamentary situation, the president doesn't indicate, say, Ingo see what Ingo do. I don't think he should do anything. I think he should stay out of it and let the system play itself out. Let it play itself out. I know things say the president for interfere. It's bad enough as the law is. Because so if he put in terms of the scale, and in a appointed Parliamentary, then because he will become now the judge for determining the fate of Parliamentary, I don't think that's good for the country. If Mr. Tarawali, and there are laws in the books right now in Sierra Leone where govern the activities of Parliamentary and IWF. There are laws, there are criminal statutes, on the books right now. We can take care of that. So we act as if you don't even need the ACC. They get ample laws. We can take care of that situation there. A fraud is a fraud. False pretense is false pretense. And embezzlement is embezzlement. It's a crime. So I don't understand this thing about investigative committee and all this kind of thing. And then the way the SCAF is set up, then Paran Tarawale, the man who's been accused of the process, is the chief administrator of the proceedings. So what kind of system is that we have? So for me, I don't care what happens to Mr. Tarawale. It's the institutions that I'm concerned about. In fact, in a way, if I were his lawyer, my argument is going to be, he's done a good service to Sierra Leone by doing what he did. Because now we know people are capable of doing that. So what are we going to do about it? Are we just going to kill it? So next time it will happen again? Or are we going to do what it takes for prevent a recurrence of that? So na me on point that one day. Let the judicial system take its course. The president should stay completely out of this, because what good is it going to do if the president gets involved? What is he going to say? So I don't think his involvement is going to, I think it's going to exacerbate or make the matter worse. So I think he should just let it go. So that would be my take on the Parliamentary thing. And that would be my take in terms of trying to repair what already defective governance system that we need for really, I don't go call it a loophole, not just a bad foundational law empowering the president for appoints a clerk in parliament. I don't think it should be that way. So again, I welcome anyone who will take a different view. In fact, we love to have a different view so we all go learn from each other, as we always say. And then we on purpose. Let me take one call. Then I go make one quick comment. Then I go pass it over to me co-host. Hello, caller. What's your name? Oh, where are you calling from?
Good evening, Mr. Shilon. This is Freddy Mustafa again.
All right,
thank
Mr.
you very
Mustafa.
much again
Welcome.
for
Thank you very much, sir.
program.
Thank you.
The issue of corruption, not feel say people are genuine for fair time. We within our position, we Allah, but we count our power. Now people are needed now. And they give us a few examples. Say the ECC now, the president to in statement where he talk. Well, all go show say, well, we can't do corruption. Now the other people are corrupt. Then the third way then talk about the generator, where the small audit, because then no we can categorically clear they don't want me to audit that COVID audit. But stubbornly, dying the auditor general mean people the small. Now then talk about the generator. As usual, now in the Maudi hot the fire, the ACC commissioner now go there. They nominated the generator, they go meet another generator. The COVID people, they mind they will go for go audit the generator in a paper, not in a C. You can't talk to the same thing. And that's why he left. He got another color generator. He come out the laptop them, with them buy the specification, the way them buy, not to them, then deliver. Where you catch them, they say, would I then do this there? And I say go publish in due course. Now off the fire back. Now they don't so he end. We then talk about the first lady, back how the argument the high been go. Talk. They say no, nothing no happen because it don't happen to before. So make we know hope see then they hold somebody responsible because of this thing not happen. Even this law, when they talk about, they don't go amend them. 2019, they amend their own ACC. Why they not put they say then they prosecute somebody? They still put an they say somebody just paid, which of course na gamble. I go take money. If they catch me, I'll give them back. If they not catch me, I enjoy, which is what is happening. This would happen. So the president not for talking about as we don't talk about this constitutional review. It's comfortable for those in power, so they're not going to change them. Now you make the president talk because we're going to parliament. They say, "Nah, you can take over the parliaments as you go inside parliament. It's so powerful." You see, like as you always talk, not in a beneficiary, not to make the law. Now a beneficiary, and you not go and change them. You go sit down there, you take over parliament. What do you for do nothing? Paran, what you don't do so? It's quite clear. It's not the table for argue. It's not the table somebody forget that over. You don't do a corrupt act. If you say human, they live with you now. If human, they work now, parliament or they get salary, they get salary from parliament. So if in a possible way, we say, do you accommodate anybody who go put in the me and not mix still accommodate, but no, you do look at what happened again. They say they will say you don't pay 131, where that one they go towards 10 months. Now I say 151 for 19 months. No, at least it will be 250 something. Because now, if the 10 months be 131, if other 9 months, it will be 90% of 131. You see, we say it will be around, I mean, let me say 10%, 13,000. So
Continue.
13,000 and pull and pani 131, you go even 28 or 18, something like that. You see? So this is about 250. Now him don't involve. So no, it's in a 150. You see, everything is shrouded. And then nobody no believe say that money they give money. Because I go prove I'm saying they give money. Nobody not going to prove them. It just tells this man, if you can't on the figure, you lie on the figure, on calculation. I will believe say that man give money. This all corruption it only be with the other people. When now even the one when they investigate now because they're not a party members them. Like the other people they go talk about SLRA. If them people are not party members, they believe in they don't prosecute them. Then we left them. But now because them people and they're not a party member, but anybody when a core party member, we be election time can't just know you for good campaign. They make one nothing. So me, I just want the add on that make more things corruption fight. We want fight them. We only the fight corruption with government change. So if anybody who interested for letting fight corruption, it's up to you. All these years, this money would they don't lose one. It don't pass now. Now $500 million if they don't put all them together. If you're ready for let them pull them, you vote otherwise so that then pull this money for we all. No, thank you. All right, guys.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mustafa. And very quickly, just touching on some of the things you say. Yeah, you may be right, but this is why I keep emphasizing, are we serious about improving the system, or are we just going to leave the system as broken as it was when we come in? Now, true for say, people look at corruption strictly on a party basis. Corruption seems to be legitimized or accepted by a party in power. They don't see the moral deficit there. They don't see how wrong that is. And as I always can argue, anybody with the kind of government should come to government for one reason only. That is to serve the people and improve the lives of the people. Not to focus, although we know say practically speaking, this is what 90% of the politicians do. They come into government for get rich quick. I mean, there's no argument about that. Everybody knows that now the motivating force nowadays, the driving force nowadays. Everybody want to go into parliament or into politics, not because they see something wrong where they want correct, not because they see condition of people where they want to improve, not because they figure say they can move the country to another level. They see it as the quickest way for get rich. And in that process, they are willing to strike all kind of crazy deals that are against the interests of the country. We push we more in servitude. So, and this goes across the board. You see, with the try to tell people, forget this APC SAPP nonsense, because that's what I call it. First of all, we have to start going back and start looking. We cannot even, our politics cannot even afford forget APC and SAPP as the two main party and no other ones involved. It's dangerous for the country. It's not going to help because I have always said these two parties are two sides of the same coin. We have to, this negotiation with the NEPAN, part of the arguments that should be raised by the other parties, the smaller parties, the Claudius Cole, the Charles Magai, the Mr. Sandy, that the smaller parties for be given an opportunity to participate, because that's the only thing that has kept the system going. The moment you left the politics to APC and SAPP, that country will be doomed. That country will be doomed. The smaller parties then get the ability for maybe strike the balance of power. But if we keep going with this selfishness, we are going to destroy our countries more and more and more and more. Now, in terms of procedure, there are a lot of things about the ACC I don't seem to understand. First of all, the process of people accused of having stolen or taken money illegally then they can't give you the money. What is an admission against interest? The process should not allow the ACC to accept that money there. That's what the courts are for. Only the courts should be able to issue orders to accept their money then they and order how they should be kept, maintain a chain of custody until the people then go to trial. You know? And Mr. Mustafa says something just now. Basically, people have concluded that to steal from the government is, you get a good return on investment. If you steal $1 million, then catch you 3 year, 2 year from now, you can already, if you don't invest that money this until you don't make 3, 4, 5 million, you can already can't give back 1 million without any judicial process. You just can't return them. Okay? And you're not going to pay interest. And that's it. That should take care of your problem. Well, that would be a wonderful return on investment. Just imagine if you go to a bank, you just go get money, they lend you $1,000, you refuse to pay, but when they say they're going to lock you up, you go get the bank back, that's $1,000 after so many years. So is this what we want for our system? If that's what we want, we can keep it, but we're not for the complaint. If that's not what we want, we'll try to fix them. This money for the Kangi ACC should not be a tax collection agency. No. And we need to align with the responsibilities of the ACC, the Director of Public Prosecution and the AG's office. All see how they go reconcile the differences, because this overlapping of authority, it just doesn't make any sense. It creates an efficient system where, for dispense justice within a reasonable time. So these are some of the things then. And I also think we are really insulting the intelligence of the population, because some of the things we will see government to say, we're just treating people as if they are just a bunch of morons. They don't understand what's going to happen. Just to tell them anything and the president will go say, well, I go see what you will do. The president shouldn't have anything to do with anything, with the parliamentary saga, where they go now. The country should be determined to try for change the law that gives the president the power, and parliament get a power there. Parliament get the power for take away that power of appointments there. Has nothing to do with President Bio. Again, let me remind people, he didn't write the law. Now, so in meantime, he does exercise the law as it is. So I'm not criticizing him by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just, in fact, as a matter of fact, implicitly, I'm criticizing then so-called educated bookman them will make them laws there. It's not working at all. And not to say we're so smart. Even in America, we see where the founding fathers left so many loopholes. Now, Mr. Donald Trump is putting to the test. So many things we don't just assume, say, when you assume the office of the presidency, a person will not do. Because it's so way above that level that there are certain criminalities you will not be engaged in. When I will find it for, say, we get a man who did nothing but that. So the founding fathers then, as foresighted as they were, they too fell short of making the laws as right now in the United States, we get a situation where the Supreme Court, I mentioned that before, the US Supreme Court, has been infiltrated by billionaires. So we're trying to deal with that. So not only Sierra Leone, but the advantage we get, we're not going to go through all. If it took America 200 or more years to do, why should it take us 200 or more years? They've already established a pattern, a framework that we can just implement and make our own system just as good, if not better. We don't have to commit all the mistakes where America or other countries they make. All right? And what would they talk about? The improvement of fighting corruption. In fact, a lot of times I try to stay away from the word corruption. But I'm hoping in the future, maybe next week, we'll go show how a country like Benin, within 10 years, the past 10 years, Benin 10 years ago and Benin now, it's like night and day. If they can do it, we can do it. But it takes a commitment. And we will play a video, make you see what the leadership is doing in Benin and why Benin is making so much progress in 10 years and what they've accomplished. So now I've left very little time for my partner, a man who always has so much for Telwi that I'm worried that I may not have left him enough time on the bus system. So, Mr. Mengot, I would like for you to take it from here. Anything that I have said that you want to comment on, and then we will go to the bus system as we had planned to do.
Thank you very much. Fambulem, at least we don't take about 1 hour. We program normally in 2 hours. But as you all know, now one great profession there where the people the way they practice that profession there, they call the learned, my learned friend. So when the learned gentleman it espouse some of the concern, let me say not use big word, where they try for tell we the nitty-gritty of the law, the small thing them. Now forget a chance. But as here viewers, today as we say in a 2-part series. This second part one are the main parts, because not to alter for the cry wolf. We see say we they get a new bus system and like give people them some significant milestone in public transport operation, management, and everything. In 1964, we get a law which creates the Sierra Leone Road Transport Corporation. That Road Transport Corporation, they now get the power to operate and regulate both passenger and freight transport. And it has existed up till now, where slowly it will no longer exist. And I will tell Fambul then why. Then in 1964. Then 1971, now we change from left-hand traffic to right-hand traffic. Whether they affect with movement and traffic management. So now part of them here one talk with a new bus here where they come. Then of course, 71 to now over 40 years. So waiting at this new bus the way they come. Several government don't buy bus tomorrow. President Bio they launch a new bus system for Freetown or the Western region. Because the Western region, now which I will say Western region, because the bus system, now you know get clear separation between which I will call Western urban and Western rural. So for Fambulem, we don't say, when they talk about Western urban, the boundary where they go around the peninsula and a place called Levuma. After Levuma, all the side beyond that, now Western rural, then on the western side. Right? If you take the eastern side, now around that Ogogu Bridge. Yeah. So, but now people in the travel different side. So this new bus here are good news. And we all want to work, they call the system worker fine. But let family understand what they all about. And then I will gain at the history, how we can to develop them. Then the challenges. Let's get to control room. Let's play one jingle where the government now, they try for advertise and tell people and this new big changes for the first time, where they can get an organized bus system with government in Anobode. Why I say government in Anobode, the bus system, now the private sector go on now. And other than that private sector, now the people the way already exists now the transport sector, the motor drivers union, the passenger welfare, the Puda organization, and the Keke. So if we can tell with control room, let it play this jingle for me. It can tell me more. They will get all that notice them when a traffic management notice them. We'll go rub much pan small for let them bus here operate. We come.
Fine.
Yes, I don't read this whole thing. But before I take in through this journey, because I get for tell family them how this bus system come, how we develop them, what thing will happen to things like how they regulate to public transport, and also how they manage the road system na salon. So before I start that journey there, I go and let me co-host Rob much small and ask some question. If you don't get anything, then I go take in through this journey.
Well, I get 2-3 questions I would like to ask. Number one, with respect to what is the seating capacity of the buses then?
Well, them bus here, okay. Them bus here, now bus them way, they manufacture them in India. And the company we manufacture them, now Ashok Leyland. As we know, Leyland na be a British company. Under colonial time, we get Leyland bus system. But as you know, India don't buy a lot of them company here from Britain. So Ashok Leyland, now which I will call an Anglo-British manufacturer. So they are manufactured to specification. And a 70 capacity, now they take 70 passenger. What means 70 passenger? It means we get sitting capacity for 40 people then, and then standing for 30. So now 70 that they take. Now 50 of the buses them, 9 we the government order through funding from the World Bank. And the total cost of them bus here, regardless of people that they say the social media, include everything from money for the cost of manufacture, insurance, freight until it reach Freetown, then cost $7.5 million for the 50 buses. And this na a grant from World Bank. First time, not a loan. So now for answer your first question that.
All right, sir. So we'll not go left any mistake in the minds of people. So the 50 buses, the total cost for the 50 buses now 7-point-something million?
7.5 million.
Okay, and that came from a grant. From a grant, we mean like we then give you our money. So we contribute only 2 million. Did we contribute anything to that?
Okay. Now when you talk about that, I should say I don't answer the question. But let me tell people them, as I say na journey, how this project starts. The projects initially, now World Bank we not look at where they talk about transport. Now we know they talk about just transport. We they talk about urban mobility, mobility and that ability for people to move. So they look at bus, when the public transport, they look at the private transport, they look at the pedestrians then. So World Bank and government signed an agreement in 2018 for a program we then call Integrated Resilient Urban Mobility Project. I know say you can always query them big title, but when I say integrated, it means how you relate the bus system to other forms of transport, because we know so we don't get other transport like keke when a 3-wheel, for the one that we don't know which in a keke, Okada when a 2-wheel, we get a taxi and private transport. So how you get all the compete for use the road. But then if you want travel, you get for use some man go take Okada and keke. So now that is integrated. The resilience now for say okay, we will get an informal system of transport where anybody can buy taxi, puda, you go, you register and Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority, then you license, you become operator. The regulation will be split between Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority, Road Transport Corporation, the police, and so many agencies. So they'll bring all the one into one. Urban, it talk about the area. Mobility, it talk about the movement. So the project cost $50 million when a grant, when they give it. Then government, like when they give grants, you get counterpart funding when at 2 million. And waiting that then the government put. And waiting that 2 million therefore. Because when they implement the project, I will explain certain people and they will go affected. Like in key area what we can call in the profession a transport node. A transport node now area where people they congregate for get transport. So that lonely area don't become a major transport node. So you get people there where they market people there where they not treat with the obstructor. So therefore look say we deal with them people and they how to move them and also try for compensate them somehow because you get to move them for clear the road all them thing and they. So now then the government you know 2 million. Therefore the 50 million it take care of the infrastructure, which will how we improve the road. We see say they don't bring traffic lights, they come. Traffic light then a Lumley area. So you get traffic lights so they don't put in a Lumley. Starting from Lumley bus station, around Lumley, Regent Road, Lumley, you get around Wilkins Road, Spur Road Junction by Lumley Police Station. You also get na Aberdeen Road Junction. You get na Moriton Road Junction, you get na Congo Cross. So that only a part of funding. Then we can see the government may not talk about overhead passenger crossing, footbridge. You know, so you get one alumni now, they don't put one up Wilberforce. Then you get one by Ferry Junction, then one by Dre. So that is also a part of that 50 million. Then also, we look at street lighting the way they don't put, and also the upgrading of certain road there, when are the bus priority routes. Then also, you talk about the support for the Ministry of Transport for letting get a project implementation unit, when are then they actually implement this project for the past 4 years. So these 50 million and the mobility again, components then will include the infrastructure, the regulatory system, the transformation of the public transport system from where we go talk about, and also other things. So that is what the 50 million grant is all about. And one of the big outcomes where people will see, now then new bus there, where government called Waka Fine, we go begin operate now the Freetown area. I hope say I answer your question. If you get another question, I'm ready for.
Yeah, I do. Okay, since now public transit, let me just ask this question quick. You can decide whether you answer or take some calls, which I'm sure will be in reference to the public transport. Since now public transit, in everywhere in the world that I know of, public transit, particularly those operated by government, and we will talk about government, we can fail for realizing we get what you call local government, like the city council, district council. If in countries like here, you get county government, you get state government. So what about is the government going to, because we know say fuel is fairly expensive in Sierra Leone. As a result of that, the ordinary folks in the country, they complain about the rise in transportation cost. So is this going to take some of the pressure of transportation cost from the ordinary person? And as a result of that, is the government going to subsidize? Because if the government is going, if the buses are going to charge like the Okada, if they're going to charge like the Keke, then they are not doing the people any good. Because if not government operation, it has to be a fraction of what the private agencies in the charge. So watching at how reasonable or how economically fair is it to the ordinary person who go and ride the bus, who will get money for Keke or for Pura?
Okay, for answer that question, the one thing I will let
me interrupt you. There are callers. Do you want to? I can leave the callers. Let you go ahead and ask the question. Or
no, let the callers then come. Then I will make a note of that.
Yeah,
we go talk about which I will call value for money, efficiency, and safety and convenience. So let's take some call. I will deal with that later on.
Okay, you can take
because
the calls.
Find this interactive thing. Now, new to where they come with and they launch, and we want let people they understand and let people then come up with ideas. So I'm ready for take callers.
Okay. So go ahead and take the call.
Hello,
Mr. Mango, do you want to take the calls? Or do you want me to
No,
take
no,
them?
yes, I'm ready. You give them the prompts.
Okay. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I do, sir. I'm calling
Fine,
from
fine.
Washington, D.C. Yeah.
From
Washington,
DC?
D.C. in the United States.
Okay, sir. All right.
Sir.
Nice for you. Nice for your voice. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just get some few comments to make, especially dealing with the separation of powers. I see you get problem with the the charge treason. You suggest them from in charge and with make all the charges, bring all the charges like insurrection and
No, I said they
so
could
forth.
have. Not that they should have. They could have.
They could have, all right. But the
Okay.
people who make the coup don't accept the coup they make. Two don't come now. Some one part them program them. Two of the people them to send a coup they make, they just not succeed. Some guy waiting in London, I think, and call and come on talking program. They don't go there twice. The one Captain Conte, the other one Captain something. Yeah, you get some Kono name so. You understand? Then Senesi, Captain Senesi and Captain Conte, they say then I've been part of the coup. Then they write down a Burkina Faso. You know, and this notion say, you know, ever see outside and charge person with treason and then grant and bail. That is true. Mr. I ever see that. I don't know what you talk around. I don't check Google. It not come up. But honest by Chroma in situation is unique. Again, in Sierra Leone or Africa, I mean, ever see outside former president get himself involved in a coup. So in situation is unique. Any kind way you look at, you understand? The situation is unique, and there is always a first for everything. Now the first thing is so this thing don't be the area all the time. Just because you know me don't mean you know will ever be. You understand?
Yeah.
And you say the Minister of Information don't get no right for talk about unless in left one of the country. No, he's supposed for because he is the Minister of Information. In responsibility, this way Mother Building Council say any information coming from the government is going to come from the Minister of Information. The judiciary will pass on to it. You see them say them press conferences on the whole. They bring ministers, heads of other parastatals, everyone, and one kind of the Minister of Education. I mean information, and she don't even do a press conference. So every information now from this present Mother government, as we understand, comes through the Minister of Information or the Ministry of Information. It is the official channel of giving out information. So I mean, not comment about the legalities of the case or something. Just inform the country, say, and it's come out the left, and because of social media, the left. You understand? And you say, Mother Bio, not true. You know, the problem in that country, we don't know if the parliamentarian or the people who make them write them constitution and they know me to think for the future. They will just to think about the president with at that time for satisfy them. So they enjoy enormous powers. And now we see how respective president do not misuse empowering. Mother Bio nothing right for appoint the clerk of parliament. That's what the constitution say. And nobody not let forgive away power. Not even in Africa, maybe in overseas or this one. So man go look and say, no, this is not good. Left. Even the Chris man Donald Trump then this year, the Republican Party want for stop the nomination. They want to make de facto nomination. Trump of all people deny. Say no, that would be bad. So, but in Africa, you know they be. You see, you know they be. Mother Bio for take actions like administrative actions, suspend the man with or without pay, then made the investigation continue. But for some of the left and also, me not say Mother Bio, they don't talk they all about corruption, they fight corruption. There's no way if for make me parents survive. Una thank you. You just forget rid of her. You will fail way for get rid of her. So that me comments and animals.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Please continue for listening. Hello, caller. Who's side you call from?
Hello?
Yeah.
I call from United States.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
I call from United States of America.
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to make a contribution on this program we're doing on now.
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Feel free.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, Mr. Mangot.
Sheila?
The question is for Mr. The question is for Mr. Mangot.
Okay,
Mangot.
good. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Mangot. Yeah, Mr. Mangot. I want to ask you a question. I already said this boss. Yes.
Now, you system the echo. You can turn down your radio or television when you get there, so you know go the echo.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Mangot.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. So, let you question, which you want I explain to you.
Well, the question is, I understand say I hear somebody go na one radio station about 2 days ago. He said they try this bus to the public 3 days time.
Yes, that's correct, and I can explain the purpose of that.
Yes, they try the bus in 3 days time. So I want to know whether this bus don't insure. If this bus don't insure, it don't license before they put it to the public for trial for 3 days. So
Okay.
I want to know whether this bus insure. If they don't insure first, before they put it to the public for 3 days trial. And if anything happen, if you not insure it, if anything happen, who will be liable?
Okay, you ask the question. You want to continue or la answer the whole thing?
Yes, I want to continue. And secondly again, the boss, when I'm making the provision for the handicap, because I understand that the handicap ramp, yes, I will continue.
All right.
Yes, I'm listening. Go ahead.
You want Mr. Mangot to go ahead and answer the question now?
And I'm making the provision for the handicap, for the ramp. Because I understand that the ramp is not effective, it's not going to work to the bus stop them. Any provision on there for the handicap there when they go use the ramp for the bus?
Okay, you don't question them?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know the question them. I want that answer from them.
Okay, fine. Let me explain the whole arrangement about this thing, and I give you the timetable, right? At the moment, everything there in the hands of the government. I mean, Ministry of Transport. So tomorrow, Nine President Bio, they launch them bus here. But the people that we get for operate the bus, now a company, when a newly formed company called Metro Transport Company. So, Metro Transport Company, who are they? You get shareholder them, we na Motor Drivers Union, a Bus Owners Association, a Passenger Welfare and Keke Union. The reason why you want to forget that and get ownership, but it's a professional company we get for one. So as I'm talking to you now, then you get other shareholders, them, individuals, them, and other logistics company. Them boss, then they not transfer the aids to Metro. So everything they with government, and I believe as a responsible government, before they go put them boss in a treat, they go get for make sure say they get insurance cover and everything. That is the responsibility of the government. And I don't get no reason for doubt then say they're not going to do the right thing. So, okay, when they launch, I'm waiting they want to do now. On the 29th, on the 38th, the 31st, and the 1st, they want to do a trial run. That trial run day, now for let people then go and get a feel of the bus and let tell you outside and they run now, you get what you call the bus priority corridor. So all throughout that 10 days, all liability is on government, not on the company. And when they don't do that trial run day, everything look okay. Now that 10 days now, they go transfer ownership to the private company through a contract, a special contract. So now that they go happen. Now, for when you talk about the ramp, I can tell you categorically say, them boss then they no get ramp. So in other words, they not go able to take wheelchair users. Because you can forget the ramp for letting the wheelchair the users the user. That is one thing which we would like to see. But this now 50 bus system we get. And for the whole route for operates, we need 180 buses. So after the trial, the rest of the bus they will get for acquire, we as the company, in terms of equity and being able to provide for all sections of society, will make sure say they bring buses there now where they ramp. So outside of the routes, you get the western corridor, where start from Lumley. It go through Wilkinson Road, Congo Cross, Savage Street, Sanders Street, Shaka Stevens Street. You get one way they go down Percival Street, then after the one way they go hospital. They get the other way they go Gloucester Street, is stop now. We call it Central Bus Station, where have been that old station, where first have been railway station, then road transport operator, then at the western corridor. Then the eastern corridor from there now, it go through Wilberforce Street, Sani Abacha Street, what we call Kisi Street, Kisi Road, up Guncham Table, they take by Bure Road. When at the main road where they go through Kisi, Wellington, and end up na Calbaton. So that is the arrangement within place. But then go for test and force for see the challenges. And other thing that I will talk about later on if time permit, are some of the restrictions we come up with that and the traffic management system where government want put together. And that again get challenges. And we'll comment on as usual as a professional. And this platform will able telling her some of the things that we government plan, how we go make them better. So I hope say I do justice to you question the way you ask. Yes, Mr. Shillon, we get any more caller?
Yeah, yes, there are callers. Hello, caller.
Okay, let them go ahead.
Where you call from?
Hello, Mr. Shillon. This is not Omar the call.
Okay, Mr. Omar, welcome. Hello.
Oh, yeah. The part don't answer one question. One of the questions I want to ask about the route, how far they don't go, because the last time when they talk about the route, the bus route na Freetown, how far they don't go. Then the second question I want to ask, what are the sensitization they don't where the government or the road transport don't come up with, for at least for sensitize the other drivers and see public bus for always get priority in case una meet na any junction. Una for always make sure the public bus get away, right of way, so that it will deliver on time. So I don't know what now the plan where government don't put for sensitize all the drivers, both private and commercial drivers, and say the bus then for be priority on the road. I don't know how far they don't go with that. Then again, I want to ask them again. I see the last time they test some street light there. How far they don't go the street light and there? I've been just wondering whether now road traffic, the police division and the police traffic division, they manage them, the road signs and they all now the road now the traffic orders and now the road transport orders, then they manage that street light and that one, because some of we they confused. We get police when a traffic division, they will get a particular division again in the dedicate only for traffic. So one who that they manage the traffic light and how far they don't go with them. Then the other on serious question you just want to ask. I wonder if Kelfala left that money in the bank, because some of people who see that money in that table don't know whether that money don't reach the bank or not. Thank you very much.
Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much. And I don't know if my co-host one comment let answer in question, but I think say the last one we don't left that about that money for Ben Kelfala. I think that this topic we talk important, and the question that we ask is very, very important. Let's start for answer the first one. You talk about sensitization. Yes, indeed. In my view, sensitization and public awareness is not going to stop. But recently, we see the Ministry of Transport put out press release which we could share when I want to talk about restrictions along this corridor, right? And when it comes to consultation, the government be not consult with a lot of the operators them, but I think say outside the consultation falls short. Now with the public, because not a public transport, they no more they run. Okay, if we see the first one we come up, we get the one where the ministry puts on the 29th, where they talk about the restriction for loading and unloading when a public notice. The same with the one for Sani Abacha Street, what will be the called Kisi Street when a prohibition. I think say, although they don't put that notice there, but normally what should have happened, in my own knowledge about how governments they inform people, I think this should have been a gazette. There will be a gazette notice, because gazette notice, when they put them, you get a span of time where people in the Sierra, the official gazette, government, they go more on a radio station, announce, then they do them. They know they do more radio program, they know they do jingle, they know they go, but almost people and they listen to radio. We need more of this program. So now that's how we talk about desensitization. When you talk about street lights, I don't know if you talk about street lights. I think so. You they refer to the traffic signals the way they don't put, and I don't actually show the areas the way they put them. For the time being, now the Ministry of Transport, in collaboration with the Sierra Leone Roads Authority, when they are the main organization for infrastructure, now then they look at the maintenance and operation of their lights in there. But the issue where you talk about, where it's also of concern, now that's where you can enforcement for traffic violation, and then bus lane then they, and traffic light violation. And notice say the light they don't get camera. Normally they should have, but with time we will improve them. So when we talk about the challenge we'll get in enforcement, because we get traffic police where they enforce, we get the road safety authority, traffic cops, then the Freetown City Council Metropolitan Police, we then there for parking at the CBD and everything. So the government get a traffic management plan, and now we get a big challenge for get their institution and they for work together for provide a service. We go ensure the enforcement go they proper and congestion. So that is the challenge. So it's work in progress. That is why they do this program, and that is why somebody like me, who is a professional who has been involved in the project, they come as an independent person, they present this to you and getting a feedback, and I make sure say them feedback then they go into the ears of the policymakers them and the one that within a government, including the minister himself. I hope say I do justice to your question. Yes, do we have any other caller?
Yeah, we have. Hello,
Okay.
caller. Where you call from? Hello, caller. Where you call from?
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Shilom. Abdul call.
Mr. Abdul, thanks for calling.
Yeah, I got few questions for ask Mr. Mengot. Then I go perhaps make some clarifications and give me your opinion in case. Last start with Mr. Shilom. I just want to re-echo your question when you asked earlier on when I'm your concern. This on a metro authority when I don't set up the price. The same price where people in the Puda, owing to the fact that this is a government. Now in the offer.
Okay, I'm sorry for interrupt you. I think they go better way ask the question. La, okay, respond and then continue with you. Now get a two-way system. Now, let me make it clear.
I'll get some few other questions then for you. So let done the question and done. That's not the first one.
Yeah. So you talk about the price. Yes. Yeah, go ahead, sir. Sorry for the interruption.
Okay. Then
Go ahead.
the second question is, when this initiative may start, I think way back in 2020 or 2019, with Cabinet Kalon and Sadiq Tila, when I be the minister and deputy, then we talk about 200 buses. We go start from Jue onto number 2 river. Then now they don't whittle and down to 50. Now the 50 million grants when World Bank give, una don't exhaust and done. The government don't exhaust that money they done for the overhead bridge, the payments of property owners, the marketing and the bill. They don't exhaust that money they done, or una get for accrue waiting the bus and they forget now. Now una get for buy the other buses because according to you now you say now if it be 180 buses now the old fleet only. Now the money they all
not to the old fleet, not to the old fleet. I correct you. Then they now for the priority bus corridor what I talk about, not to the whole fleet. But go ahead.
Yes. Okay. So the 50 million done now with all this construction and all the buses don't purchase, or the money still there. World Bank they give them in tranches. So how will they able to get the 130 more buses? How would they be able to forget them? Now from the 50 million, we get forget them buses and they, or the 50 million you don't done. Then the other question I get from Paran, I believe say because we follow them intensely when they start them. The clarification the party Sandy when I the ACC PRO, he say now that 30 million when they show now the social media or 31 million. Now accumulation of all the other months where they don't pay. Not only 1 month standing no more. And the ACC commissioner now DJ based in program day before yesterday they say they don't pay what the old 151 million. So I just want to make that clarification there. Then with parent own relief where they don't relieve them, because according to news when me hear from Parliament day before yesterday where the speaker they address Parliament and they apologize on behalf of Parliament. In they say he apologized and there is no rift between the all two. The problem again is just like what Mr. Shillon say, it's with the constitution. Because the president no get no hands for they appoint the clerk of parliament. If that they lie solely in the hands of the public HRMO, the public service, if now they're responsible for that, for the appoint whosoever they want appoint as the clerk of parliament, where you don't get any political interference, you go fine. But as at now, let's go look into that. Me feel say na administrative look, he go look into that. That is now in appoint him and now himself get the power for ask parents to step aside. Let the investigation continue. So I go stop so far. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think say we note you concern about parental issue. We cannot confirm whether the money they don't pay on a bank, but this is since it's an ongoing thing. We know say the special committee in a parliament still they go ahead, they don't do head count, and we now viewers will partner with a company called Black TV. We go give our updates on waiting the committee they'll come through. So, and we don't spend. Now let me go to your question. Then we ask about first. You talk about Mr. Shillon said be asked that question. Day. Now, let we look at the relationship between the government and the private operator, this metro company, we don't form. Before SLRTC, when at the Sierra Leone Road Transport Corporation, they were both an operator and a regulator, which means they also get influence on how you regulate public passenger transport. The same thing when they get Sierra Leone Road Transport Authority, when our Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority, they self get responsibility for regulate public transport. So because of this overlap and everything, one of the first things we will do, now for look at the different powers of these different organizations and take a bill to Parliament which creates the Sierra Leone Public Transport Authority, which will now be the regulator for all public transport. So it means governments not they run transport again. When the authority is fully operational, SLRTC, when a road transport corporation, will cease to exist. So the Public Transport Authority, now that they give operator license and route license, starting with this priority bus corridor, what I don't tell you, where metro they run. But you get other corridor than a saloon. We get map where I think say, if we control, I can show the map for show the different other routes them, where then they. So that nine are the issue. Now, when you talk about, say, when they start this program, they mean start with 200 buses. When we look at the corridor, what I don't talk about, when we do the demand modeling, we do the estimation, for let the corridor be fully operational, they need close to 180 buses. So that them they talk about, when they talk about these 200 buses, but they are operating in phases. So like phase one now, when you look at the Western Corridor, they stop now Lumley. But when you come to phase two, that Lumley, they extend to number 2 river. The Eastern Corridor, now phase one, they stop now Calbaton. But then they extend to Jui. So these 50 buses where the World Bank buy now for phase one. And before I go further, let me tell you, say the 50 million where World Bank give, it don't cover all those things they wait and did. So there's no more extra money. And World Bank, they wrap up the project in June this year. Now, you talk about, so the company, metro company, where they give this bus, then give them on the basis that they would get these buses at 50% of the cost. So from the fares where they will collect, they will able to get enough money for put additional buses for meet that target the way when the corridor is fully operational, we will get up to 180 buses running on that. Now let me come to the price. Now flat rate, what we say pole to pole. So if you take them from Lumley, now as we say, the full routes now for go Central Business District. So if you come any side in between, now the same price they pay, which is 10 Leone's. The same with the Eastern Corridor. But now look, compare to other ports. They talk about convenience, they talk about payment. If you are moved now from Lumley to the Central Business District, normally it's very difficult for you get one transport where they take you straight through. It's very rare. So you will therefore take some time from Lumley. You get the one where you go take you to like Congo Cross, where you go pay something like 5,000 old Leone's, you know. And something from Congo Cross, you know, go get bus or taxi, you go get forget keke, and some of them go take you something to St. John, where you go pay another 3,000. Then from St. John to Central Business District, you get for pay something like another 4,000 or more. So when you take that cumulative amount of fares the way they pay, it's more than if you get one flat fare when at 10 new Leone's and 10,000 old Leone's from the beginning of the route to the end of the route, the same with the Eastern Corridor. So I hope say I don't deal with some of them you question and they. So if we get other callers them, or if me co-host one comment before we take other call, feel free for do that.
Okay, we do have other callers, but I will yield to them. I will yield to them, but I get a question for you, but I'll yield to the callers. Hello, caller. What's your name Who's how you call from?
Yes, Mr. Silon, I'm again for you, sir. I
All
get
right, sir.
concerned about this project because me, Mr. Mengot, even though they do a good job, but whenever they call the World Bank and IMF, me, I go really want to do without them because now 50 million you talk about so. And within World Bank and IMF they do to African countries, now like when you get picking a house, we don't grow up, you don't be 18 or 21, you don't go school, you get people there for very good job. You tell us, but no go work, you don't a house, they feed you, they give you pocket money. We be say that working come you go £4,000, you get in your life, they live good. This is what the IMF and the World Bank can do in simple terms. So if they carry them project there, I see a public notice where there's a government of Sierra Leone where they talk see Okada, Keke, heavy goods vehicle, carts, what they call Omolanki, public transport vehicles, except for SLPT license during 6 to 10 p.m. You know what they mean? Look at the shape of Freetown. Until you don't put the map now, there is no way you can go east to west na Freetown if you not go through Kisi Street, where they say I think na Sani Abacha Street. You know go to they say back other street than they
No,
look
sir.
at
Before you go ahead, I can challenge that, because if you look at Sani Abacha Street, not just a segment. Because if you want to go east to west now, you get one of the other routes where government makes sure they don't open. You can use the hillside bypass, where you not get for go through town. Because the hillside bypass, they take you around, you can't bus to
I don't talk about those ordinary people. I talk about
but then let me make one clarification before you go, right?
Yes, sir.
What the government is talking about is only this bus priority corridor where I don't tell you now they get restriction, and I don't make them clear. The restriction are on certain section at certain times of the hour of the day.
Yes.
But all other routes not get restriction.
Good now. I don't get your points. I just want hammer on them. They take from 6 to 10 p.m. I'm talking of strictly on business terms. People like that, they Omalanki when talk about so Okada them, Keke them. These are people who are self-employed. Who get family to take care of.
We are going to address that. Your point is well taken. I don't have to preempt you from asking the question.
That's an issue. Area, Kisi Street or Sani Abacha area, that area, now they business they take place for them people, mostly.
Correct.
So now they try for wipe them off that area there. They don't think about the economic impact on the people. They don't think about how they make people become where they not get no other job, they not get education. Because one thing I don't see about governments most times, in particular this government, they don't get respect for person with the tooth they go sell. That person they not get education, they not get job. Now that sell where they go sell, now they survive. When I just sit down and make law, they say, oh, this is not for go so, not for sell so. Because you sit down in the office, you get a livelihood, then they pay you. But when people then they spend all their lifetime, they go sell one. That thing don't become 20 or 50. Now today, that thing don't do. We say to go pull other money, you know, get bank loan. Now that way, that person they survive, they take care of his family. It is good also when government they take a project, make them think about the people and make them find alternatives for them, so that themselves, their life them will continue for run. But otherwise, now exactly waiting World Bank and IMF they intend for do, making them the people dependent upon them. Now so back they go want for let the government people and depend on the government, where government not going to provide. Now I'm concerned about this notice why I see so. I hope the point why I for talk about purely on business. People already survive on them own. They not get no links to government. They not get no links to politics. Now that I'm concerned about this transport issue. Thank you very much.
Okay, let me make a clarification to that. Right? When they put from 6 to 10, now that priority corridor day where I don't explain. Now these buses then they operate. You don't mean to say then they ban them from all the sections of the routes. Yes, I agree with your point. Now 6 to 10 they operate. But then there's another notice we talk about peak hours. Peak hours in the morning, Now from 6 o'clock to 9:30, and in the evening, they say from 4 to 8 to 8:30. So the only time we go get restriction now, also you get dual carriageway. When I mean dual carriageway, we get 2 lanes there. So the cab side lane go be for buses during peak hours. Then they're mostly around Wilkinson Road. The same with Bible Road with a dual carriageway. But now think about Sani Abacha Street. Again, are they you concerned? Sani Abacha Street not just a short route. And again, we get for reconsider that because you dey talk about the people them way they move Amolanke. But I can tell you categorically say the Traders Council, where they deal with that trader, they were consulted. But I also say we get for look at 2 things, my own concern as well. Alternative way for people the way they go buy mostly na Sani Abacha Street, where you get them shop where they sell wholesale. How they go move their goods? Because now the only means of moving na Omolanke, that is something we have to consider. The other thing on that notice there for Sani Abacha Street is that you get residents then there, where if you see some of the places then there, you get the house on top, then you get the shop underneath. Consideration has to be given to them people then there, if you did it for like say access permit for that route there. So it is still work in progress. That is why we appreciate your contribution and some of these things. Given my own involvement with the project, I would want let people to know. Then finally, I'll comment one thing about World Bank. What we can always say. World Bank, not a bank for states, just like I get private bank. The same way when nobody know they force you for go take loan na them private bank. Now the same way they know they force any country for go na World Bank go take loan. World Bank when they fund projects, then they fund projects based on grants and loan. This one are grants then give we. When are 50 million, we will not get for pay. So in other words, now like seed money. So depending on how we proceed, we can go back for funding again. Whether it can be a loan that turning. The other thing, when World Bank they develop the project, the country they involve, you get a team at the Ministry of Transport, when at the progress implementation unit. So you cannot now them people and they now their own role now for liaise with all of that and they affect them and make sure say the project implements smoothly. So World Bank know they put conditions on them. Now that makes it they look at what you call social safeguards and for actually deal with people that will go be disadvantaged. So more needs to be done. And I take your point about this banning of Omolanke and Sani Abacha Street. Last stop there, I don't know if we get any other caller.
Yeah, we do. Hello, caller. What's your name? Who's you call from? Hello, caller. Hello.
Hello. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. I'll go ahead now. Let me turn this. Yes. Mr. Manga.
Turn your instrument down. Turn your instrument down. The echo. Just turn them. Your radio, TV, or whatever you get. Just turn it down. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Manga. Let me go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. I hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Mr. Mangot, the other issue where I try to bring to you back is this. Is any feature where they designed this ramp for these handicapped people then? Is
Yes, as I said earlier, the next set of buses the way we go bring come. Now the fact that we go look at bringing buses the way get ramps. Now that makes some metro transport company then give them buses at discount so that they go able to save enough money for buy more buses them. Where some of them buses then they now we go look at the one that we get ramps. Probably we go also look at buses themselves where now electric traction. We not go depend too much on fossil fuel like petrol or diesel. That again getting challenged. So everything is open for further improvement. As you say, This is a beginning and a pilot. We dey look at how we dey go, but we hope for improve the system.
Okay, that's fine. But as I say, but this initial stage when I start now, it looks bad to the handicap them, and it looks very, very bad to the handicap that we left them out at the first initial stage. And some of them, and the handicap are in the trouble more. Transportation. They are the people who the transportation they affect them more. Very, very, they affect them more than the man they will get to food. Because some of them handicap they all the way eastern, and they come all the way western. They can't send them dirty bread, push your back, go all the way eastern. So then they beyond eastern. It's bad. It don't look fair to them at all at this first initial stage. It's not fair at all.
Well, thank you very much, sir. I think I will make that known to the powers that be. And the sooner we'll get buses that will be wheelchair accessible, the better it will be. We're not going to left them out. We will still consider them. Yeah, we will still consider them and make sure, say, your point is taken. And the purpose for me, make me unclear. The purpose for being here, my work that I do in Sierra Leone is purely pro bono and voluntary, so that I would able to liaise with the people and the government for make the people know, the government know what's in the people and think about it. So your point is taken, and it will be brought to the powers that be. And also, since I work with the company that will be operating the buses, we will also make sure that in increasing the fleet, we will look at buses that way wheelchair accessible. Thank you very much, sir. So do we have any other caller?
Yes, we do.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Hello? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Before you go, I understand when they trust where they ship their bus here. Two of the bus will be broke. And whenever they ship one of the bus may get accident. If this bus get insurance, I still get press on these insurance issues. And is there any way, is any provision they wanna get provision for spare parts? Another thing, when you bring the bus back.
Sorry for interrupt you, because I know so we get other caller them, but I can tell you, say the buses them, when the one that way we probably get problem in transit, they are back to the manufacturers them, and they go do them back and bring them and deliver them. But when you talk about insurance, I go give you a real assurance, say, when these buses will be operated by Metro Transport Company, they will all be properly insured. In fact, Metro Transport Company, already they talk to key insurance people in Atong, where the two main ones are Sierra Leone, the three who they talk to, the National Insurance Company, Sierra Leone Insurance Company, SLICO, and OEL Insurance. So that one will happen. It will be, as a professional, I don't think I would sit by and make sure, say, they operate buses in the country we're not insured for put passengers at risk. So I thank you very much for your contribution. Let's see. And through our program, we'll get 10 more minutes. Yeah, because we don't almost so. And for these 10 more minutes, I will let for take some more calls before we round up. But I will assure people and say, given some of this concern, we will monitor the operation, the free ride we'll get for the first 3 days, we'll get a feedback, and then I can continue and give an update next week as to some of the challenges them will they experience. So thank you very much. If we get another caller, I'm ready to take the call.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Who's you to call from? Or you can just give me who's you to call from.
Yes, Mr. Shilon, this is Zubairu Harun. I call from Fairfax, Virginia.
Mr. Harun, welcome. Long time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There, everything is fine, except for the keep quiet and pay attention to owner. So the question, Mr. Mengat, I know this is not a part of what you talk about today. Please, if you can able to tell Freetonians, them or Sierra Leonean that we they about forget cable car. If you know about them, know when the projects they come and whose time they come. And when you compare with the road projects them and the post whether they bring now, who's one better? So the question I will ask you, sir, whose time this grant was given to Sierra Leone? Who then not be president during that same day when they give this particular grant? If the bus that they give the 50 bus them, is it going to be up to 180 buses, or it's just the 50? And the other thing is, any country where they do an infrastructure project, the road system therefore be fine. I hear Mr. Menga the tell we say now every 5 minutes, considering the road system of the country, that's the one. Number two, with all the traffic.
Correction, sir. I'll not be able to mention saying every 5 minutes. I didn't say that. If you look at the statement that the government put and say the headway now during peak hours now 5 to 15 minutes. Now waiting the government say.
Okay, so you that the government tell you that with you as a professional, is that feasible? That's not the question they ask you, sir.
No.
But the other question, sir, please be specific now, so because I know that tomorrow, Mother Bio, they can't take credits for this. But we they put the point not to him actually secure this particular grant. We get to let the world know that. Now, World Bank decide to do this, and under what circumstance they do this, sir. But the other question they ask you, sir, the information about the cost, the accessibility, and also who that they keep the money, they get the money. Now that's what we want from them. So these are the questions we get for clarify with the people of Sierra Leone. Thank you very much for your contribution. So we can see, sir. Goodbye.
Okay, fine. Let me answer your question. This project was conceived in 2014, 2015. So because of Ebola, it was put on hold. Then in 2017, it was revived. At that time, it was $22 million, $22 million. And that telling them, they talk about Freetown Resilient Urban Mobility Project. So in 2018, when this government came to power, they now consulted World Bank and said, okay, but we want, even though we look at the challenges in Freetown, but want this thing for be public transport management, regulation and operation at the whole of Sierra Leone. So on that basis, government renegotiated with World Bank. Then World Bank said, okay, we go gain a 50 million when a grant, which is seed money, and at the 50 million, now they use for all lending and the what they talk about. So now you talk out and they keep the money. Let me tell you what happens. When World Bank provide a grant, how the system was working, you get under the Ministry of Finance a project, a unit what they call Project Fiduciary Management Unit. When they do all the procurement and look at the contract at the Ministry of Finance. Then they set up a team of professionals that the Ministry of Transport when at the project implementation unit. So then they fund them in phases. They don't just give the government 50 million cash. You get stages them in phases the way they give the money in terms of procurement, whether it's service for professionals or things the way that they do. And some of these are public tender, international tender, like the Bosnia international tender. So you get somewhere an international tender, like the Transport Management Company, right? And you get somewhere a local tender. And then they determine who that they get them contract on what to call costs and benefits, the cost service, you know, and also the appropriateness. So World Bank not give government 50 million. The 50 million is highlighted for the project and based on the planning intervals, because you don't get from 2018 to now, so then they release the money. Now, for talk about the cable project, I get an idea of it because I provide some kind of technical support and advice on that. It is now in a concept stage where they do feasibility study. And from that feasibility study, then go decide how you go implement a cable car project. And it go be what we will call an intermodal system. So if you get for bring cable car, it get for link up with other forms of transport like this bus service. And I think say I don't deal with your question. I don't know if we get chance for any other caller before we round up.
I think we'll get one more caller, and then I will have a question. Hello, caller.
Okay, then.
What's your name? Say the call from. Okay. Maybe we lost that particular caller there. Now you will explain to we. Well, okay. Like two things. Not an expert on transportation, but I think Mr. Arun asked if something to the effect that if we go need, well, okay, let me go back. Hello, caller. What's your name? Who's the call from?
Hello, Mr. Mengo. This is Umaru again.
Okay, sir, go ahead.
I not been get chance to ask all my question there, so I just decided for call back. First of all, for start with, we know say Freetown people sometimes not clear for adhere to government notice. Or this not development business. The bus is now for everybody. So now all manage, now give the bosses a chance for run. If government say the bosses them particular time for run and that time not for use Omolanke, we all in a civilized country. See how they happen here. Certain roads there where they say now for boss, now boss. So now we get for patient, we serve patient to follow rules. That now one. So we expect everybody Abacha Street or any side when a bus route, we expect the people and go give way to the boss, let the bosses then run. Then the another thing again, I want to know, Mr. Mengodia, what about the control system? Because now one of the major things that way they fail because we don't see even a private sector when a Milan toss come, just because of the control system, it failed because that's why they say a failed company. Then the government system only cannot to the first one to the second one.
For you explain to me what you mean by control system?
Control system one, what are the complaint mechanism in case of disorder by the drivers or the bus conductors? What are the mechanism for complaint? Would are the control that now one? Then two again, a control system where I mean the ticket side. Because not for always sell ticket now, but for follow up. And to be honest to the Sierra Leoneans, that one flat price where you talk, I know say you try for explain them for sure because of the transportation system, but it's too much. Why I say it's too much? If you pay for distance, where they go, you know, for be forced within a system for pay for distance where you already for cover. So for instance, if you come on Lomley, na Congo Cross they come. If you make sure say the 10,000 they pay, you're not going for pay 10,000 to be honest and fair to the passengers. You're going for pay the distance of Lomley to Congo Cross. So then forget people where they sell ticket according to say people one drop, and then forget sober control system in the buses where they control people and ticket and make sure say people not thief drive. So now that we could do if we want to sustain them buses then they. But for cinema, we just impose one price on the Sierra Leone and say even if in a Lomley they go you take the bus, you still get for pay the same price now one flat and obviously fair to the passengers. So now that's what I just want to talk. Then do again later again this lab just emphasize again on the traders. The traders let them be let them allow at least now we get some to a monetized system. If you not sell Abacha Street, you need to die. We get a lot of other market. Let people and go. We get, for instance, another market where they be seen at the peace market. That one day empty. If you get goods where people need for me, any way you did it, they go bam. You let them give the people a chance and let them give the bosses a chance. Let them operate. Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Chilola answer this question quick. Yeah. Now,
Yes, sir,
if you
go
talk
ahead.
about control system, the control system number one, as we say, let me make it clear. Governments know they run buses again. They are the regulator, right? Now make sure we get a new authority called Sierra Leone Public Transport Authority, and then go monitor the operation of private sector. Metro where they run at these priority routes, then plan for get a bus tracking system, and the bus then get camera, so we will monitor things them where they happen inside the bus. Then secondly, when you talk about ticketing, now delay, because the initial plan was that them bus here, they go get machine them where you get electronic ticketing. And you get 3 types. You get like what you get in England, where now Oyster, where they get like a card, we get a barcode where they buy like the top up your phone, where they tap in, tap out. Or you can use your bank card or an app on your phone. Now, when you talk about the flat fare, right? It just sounds like where we did England, allow me complain or we did any side. Not so all man can afford forget Uber. Some people can take Uber, you get private transport and everything. Now, what you know they talk, initially we look at flat fare because we are looking at a certain side of the market, but there are other, like Poda there, we get 15-seater, and there are other routes them, alternative routes there, where you can pay stage carriage, because you go still get them Poda them, we go take you halfway. So this is not like where they pay express service. It's just like me while they travel. While they travel, me and you go take the same airline. We get the 3 different sides. We get the one that where the business class, they pay more. Me, I get also how they call Poma business class. When now they call premium economy. Because of me, like, it higher than you were the day at the ordinary. So the point is, we get for maker in terms of demand. Now, so what we do, there's enough demand. Not so one size fits all. So I think, so that control system, you get the government where they control them, as the regulator where they monitor the people where they give contract. Then you get the company of itself where I can tell you, say, the monitor and driver, and no driver, not the old money. So initially, you buy the ticket, the off bus. Government don't tell you, say, then they only last for 4 or 6 months. When you buy the ticket, the off bus, then obviously I would expect, say, then ticket, then the machine that we go there, they go get like barcode, we go read them for the moment. But eventually we will get pure electronic system. So the driver, not they get anything for the money. Don't the private company go able to monitor the driver in behavior because you get CCTV camera inside the bus. And the bus they not get conductor. So that end there and go to me co-host because you get question for answer. I shall say this is a very interesting topic. Let me asking question. And we don't give Bunya time. I go answer the question, don't go wrap up. But I will promise reviewers they say next week program, after we don't get the results of the pilots now, we'll remind people them. Because they get a test run on the 30, 31, and the 1st, where people in the travel and the bus free, and they give feedback. So we'll monitor the use of the buses. Also, we'll go monitor congestion and the areas and obstacles for free movement and the timing where the bus and the take. So let's stop there and let's go over to Mr. Shillon.
Oh yeah, very quickly. Umar comment that we forgive and chances and give the bosses their priority if we want to let the bosses then run on time. I agree with him. That is everybody's responsibility. The ordinary citizen, the Okada driver, the keke, we all for make sure say them bosses are run on time. Someone raised the thing about the 5 to 15 minutes. And I don't see how that practical. I think more realistic time frame might be 25 minutes interval time. About 5 to 15 minutes. If you go all the way, Joe, for a bus for a day all the way under every 5 or 15 minutes. I don't know how it operates. There's anything the mind conceives, the mind can do. So maybe I'm not an expert in that area. They will not just look practical to me. But the question really that I have, I think you explained it to me, but I just want to make sure. Let's say I buy a bus ticket. I am at Lumley. Okay, as you said, the Lumley corridor extends all the way to number 2, beach or river number 2, correct?
That's for phase 2. But from now, the Lumley corridor, they start from Lumley to Central Business District.
Okay, so let's say I'm living Lumley, I want to go to Dewey. I assume, according to what I understand, the ticket will cost me no more than 10 leones, 10,000 old leones, correct?
Now, if you want from Lumley to go Dewey, you not get bus where they run through from Lumley to go Dewey.
Okay, my
So
question.
you go get for take bus from Lumley,
let me
reach
interrupt
na
you
the
right there.
Central Business District and take another bus where they operate na the Eastern Corridor.
For the same amount. In
Yes,
other words,
not for the same amount, no, for different amounts.
Okay, well, this is where I have a little problem. I just want to comment because, like we now, in most of the metro system, as long as you've bought your ticket, if in a subway, the train, the tube, as long as you don't buy your system and as long as you stay within that system there, it can take you to your final destination, even if you change transportation. So now, do I hear that if you buy a ticket for 10,000, then you reach the wherever the Eastern Corridor starts, I have to buy another 10,000 tickets, the adult Leon ticket, if I want to go to Joey? Is that what?
Okay. I mean, when we look at the pricing of tickets, you look at demand, origin, and destination. You look at how many people there we go want journey from Lumley all the way to Joey. Then very few. You get other alternative means of transport. If you want to go from Lumley to Joey, you get transport another route, where that route they start from Lumley, where they go through Wilberforce, Hill Station, Regent, Grafton to Joey. So if you want to go through journey, you get that option there. And a cheaper. Now, when we talk about 5 to 15 minute headway, we talk about peak hour. And I don't talk about the peak. Because now, we start with the Western Corridor, now 12 bus system. Because eventually it will be 16. Then the Eastern Corridor na 29. Eventually it will be 34. So when you talk about 15 minutes headway in peak hours, now how the bus then they run from one bus to the other, that is very, very possible. Then during peak hour, because certain section of the route, you get restrictions. Because like the bus route around the Wilkinson Road, the Capside Lane, now they no more they use during that peak hours there. The same with Bible Road. That is why we talk about the peak. But off peak hour, it not going to be 15. It will be the same amount, the amount where you talk about 25 to 30 minutes headway.
Okay, how do we enforce the law with respect to violation during this peak hour? If you get a KK or another transportation want to interfere with the bus
that's a big challenge. That's a big challenge.
That's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Initially, we were thinking of electronic surveillance, like CCTV camera and all that in the day, where it's still under consideration. But for the time being, we just rely on manpower, and getting a patrol system for traffic police and traffic warden the way they operate. I think that's the way we're looking at it. And let me make a disclaimer here. Most of the information I've shared now based on the fact that I was part of the consultants we developed this project to advise government. My contract expired in 2022. Then after that, just for give services to the nation, I worked with the operators, the winner, the Puda guys, them, the Keke guy, them, for form this metro company. We go run the buses and they provide transport consultancy services to them at no cost to them. And I give all my time free. And what I'm explaining it not as a government spokesman, but as a professional who's passionate about improving transport system in Sierra Leone, which I've done in other African countries. So I think I can stop there and give the last word before we say tata. But I will assure people and say we'll continue this program next week.
All right, sir. Very quickly, also, Mr. Zubairu asked about the cable cars. I think in most developing countries or developed countries, it's not necessarily either or. I think we can have cable cars, we can have public transit systems such as buses, we can even have subways. The more the merrier, and I think it's good for the people, and I think it also will be an indication of progress in our country. So I don't think it has to be either or. Cable cars, I think, are important to go up the hills, up the mountain. They're different mode of transportation now and then, as we see in other countries. I'm just commenting as a layperson. That's all.
Well, yes, that's the intention. So it will be what we call integrated and intermodal form of transport. When you talk about integration, it's one form of transport linking with the other. Intermodal, not just like we get intermodal transport now, but in a very informal way. And let me tell people how that intermodal transport they work. Now, when somebody they take Okada, which is, I'm not a fan of Okada, now they're hard to reach area, you know, because now that most people they take, if around the Lumley area, you get them places like Kamayama, Kuntolo, so where Purapura they go, Taxina they go. So if they take Okada, come na Lumley Junction, for can take Purapura a taxi. That is what we call intermodal, from one mode to the other. And for this to work properly, we get a bus priority corridor there. We get other corridors there. We'll go explain later on. But then we need, like the Keke and the Okada, for feed into key transport nodes where them bus they on. Because then they take more people. So it will even profitable for them. Because they will do shorter journey and faster, and let's feed into the main bus system. So I think that is our intention, and that is what we hope to happen. So with that, if you don't get any comments, let me thank all the contributors and say viewers will continue with this. I hope I've done the best for informing people about this new development from an independent and professional view. And I hope I'll come back, and if I continue for going our YouTube page, and also next week, any more question we will get for answer. So from this side, we don't gain a bonus hour. I will say tata, and let you all get a productive week.
Thank you very much, sir. Tata to the rest of the audience. Can the control room take us off the air, or?
Yes, control room. We might tell you that the program has come to an end now. I hope you will give us the signature.